Let me take you straight to the part where the world cracked open under my feet. It was a Thursday evening, late spring, warm enough that the air smelled like honeysuckle and lies. I got home early from a client meeting that got canceled, took a side road home just to enjoy the breeze, and there it was, my wife's car parked 2 blocks from our house, tucked behind a Dunkin'. I know that beat-up Honda Civic like I know the feel of my own damn heartbeat. Curiosity didn't just kill cats, it murders husbands, too. I parked, got out, and walked toward the back of the lot. I figured maybe she was getting coffee, but then I saw him. Some Jimbro-looking punk with a V-neck shirt 2 sizes too small, tattoo sleeves like he's trying out for a boy band reunion tour. He leaned into her window, and then they kissed. Like they were in their own damn music video. My stomach didn't just drop. It crashed. Her name's Ashley. Blonde, blue-eyed, fake innocent smile that used to make me melt. That smile conned me into a mortgage, 2 dogs, and a lifetime plan. And here she was, lip-locking with Captain Muscle Milk while I stood across the parking lot like a damn extra in my own life. I didn't confront her, not yet. I just stood there, jaw tight, watching. Something about it felt surreal. Like I'd walked into a scene from someone else's dirty little story. She didn't see me. That made it worse. She wasn't even hiding it well. Like my heart was a toy she was done playing with. I turned and left, quiet, methodical. I went home, sat at the kitchen table. The dogs wagged their tails like nothing had happened. I poured a whiskey, then another. My mind was racing, trying to piece together all the weird signs I'd ignored. The extra long yoga sessions, the sudden obsession with makeup again, the way she never let her phone out of her sight. She'd been screwing around, and I was too damn loyal to see it. But here's where the real mindbender begins. This cheating scandal? It was just the fuse. The real explosion came from her sister. A week before, I saw Ashley making out in the parking lot. Her younger sister, Tiffany, 24, chaos in human form, prank called my boss. Yep. She thought it'd be funny to pretend she was a client and tell him I was dealing drugs from the office. Swore it was a joke. That joke got me fired. I found out later from a friend in HR. Sorry, man. The call sounded serious. You know the company's zero tolerance. Tiffany never apologized. Ashley brushed it off like it was some silly mistake. Said, she's young. Don't be so dramatic. Dramatic. I lose my job and I'm dramatic. She's tongue wrestling a discount Calvin Klein model and I'm overreacting. Fast forward 3 weeks. I land a better job, triple the pay, company car, full executive benefits. I claw my way back like a cornered wolf. Ashley's attitude suddenly shifts. Starts cooking again, wearing lingerie to bed, calling me baby like she's auditioning for Wife of the Year. And then the real kicker, her entire family starts reaching out. Her mom, her cousin Rachel, even Tiffany the fire starter. All with, hey, heard you got a new job. Could you help me with messages, loans, rents, car payments? Like I was a walking ATM. No apology. No shame. I didn't respond. Not yet. Instead, I smiled. And I mailed out empty envelopes to all of them. Every last leech. Inside was a single note. Check your mailboxes. This is what you've earned. When they opened them and saw nothing but silence, their faces turned pale. My phone blew up like a New Year's fireworks finale. Ashley screamed at me for embarrassing her family. Said I was cruel. Called me a psycho. Said I didn't know how to forgive. Forgive? She cheated. Her sister wrecked my career. And her family tried to profit off my comeback. And I'm the villain? That night, I slept in the guest room. Locked the door. The dogs came with me. Even they seemed to know who the traitor was. This wasn't just about betrayal. It was about disrespect on a nuclear level. And I was done being the nice guy with a broken heart. From here on, it was war. Silent. Tactical. Cold-blooded. And you better believe. This was only the beginning. The next morning, I didn't speak to her. Just got dressed, made my coffee, fed the dogs, and left. Her voice trailed behind me, fake soft, like nothing had happened. Babe, you're seriously mad over mail? I didn't answer. I didn't even blink in her direction. The silence was my weapon now. That day, I walked into my new office like I owned the building. Not because I was cocky, but because I'd earned it. Fought for it. Crawled out of the pit Tiffany threw me into. Meanwhile, Ashley was sitting at home in a robe pretending her world hadn't just been split wide open. When I came back that night, she was sitting on the couch with a glass of wine and that manipulative smirk she wore when she was about to lie through her teeth. You've been weird lately, she said. Are you going to tell me what's wrong? Or are you just going to keep sulking like a child? I sat across from her, took a breath, and let the words fall with precision. I saw you. Last week. Kissing some clown in a parking lot behind Dunkin'. Her face didn't move. She didn't blink. Didn't gasp. She didn't even pretend to be caught. That's when I knew she wasn't sorry. She wasn't shocked. She was just calculating. Oh, she said, sipping her wine. That. My marriage, my loyalty, the years I gave her, that's what it boiled down to. I didn't rage. I didn't throw anything. I just stared, because her reaction was uglier than any curse I could have screamed. You've been distant, she added, shrugging. What did you expect? You never talk anymore. You're always stressed. Always at work. I needed attention. I laughed. I couldn't help it. That bitter, hollow laugh that comes out when reality is too insane to cry over. Needed attention? So you jumped on the first musclehead that smiled at you. Don't turn this around on me, she said, voice rising. You lost your job because my sister played a stupid prank, and instead of fixing things, you sulked for weeks. It was pathetic. She said it like it was my fault I got fired. Like I wasn't the one keeping everything afloat while she played spa queen and went on pretend errands to go grind with Jim Kin. And now that you've got your shiny new job, you think you're hot sh*t, she went on. Sending my family blank letters like you're some mafia boss. It's embarrassing. I stood up, slow and calm. Embarrassing, I said. You think that's embarrassing? Wait till your family finds out exactly how you've been spending your afternoons. Maybe I'll send that in the mail. Her mouth twisted, like she wanted to scream but didn't know what to say. So she picked the one defense cowards always run to. You're being abusive, she hissed. Threatening me now? Wow. Real mature. I turned and walked upstairs. I wasn't going to waste another minute debating morality with a woman who thought loyalty was optional. That night, she didn't come to bed. Or maybe she did, I wouldn't know. I locked my door again. The following day, I dropped by the gym she supposedly worked out at. Talked to the manager. Flashed a smile and asked if Ashley was in. She doesn't work out here, he said. She used to come in with this guy named Blake, but we haven't seen her in about a week. Blake. I didn't ask for more. Didn't need to. I had what I came for. Back at home, I found her scrolling through Instagram like nothing happened. Posting throwbacks of us from 2 years ago with cheesy captions like, so grateful for the love of my life, 2arts. If that wasn't proof of how fake she was, I don't know what is. I sat down across from her, laid my phone on the table, opened a video I'd pulled from the Dunkin' security cam, got it through a friend who owed me a favor. Her and Blake. Clear as day. I pressed play. She looked up. Eyes narrowed. Is that supposed to scare me? She said. You went behind my back and filmed me? That's creepy. Not clever. No guilt. No regret. Just venom. I leaned in, calm as ever. You're right, I said. You're not scared. But you should be. Because you don't even know what's coming next. And I meant it. The war had just started. The next move wasn't rage. It wasn't yelling or throwing her crap out on the lawn like some soap opera meltdown. That would be giving her too much of a show. No, I went surgical. I called my lawyer the next morning. A quiet man named Gerald who looked like he'd rather be fishing than fighting divorces. But don't let the cardigan fool you. He was brutal in court. I told him everything. The cheating, the prank that cost me my job, the mail stunt, all of it. He didn't flinch. Get your documents in order, he said. Start separating finances. And don't tell her anything. The less she knows, the harder she hits the wall when it comes. So I started moving pieces silently. Opened a separate account. Transferred my direct deposit. Canceled the joint credit card and replaced it with my own. Bought a storage unit. Began slowly moving out what was mine, tools, personal records, collectibles, my late dad's watch. She didn't even notice. Too busy texting on the couch with her face glued to her phone like a zombie. I made sure she saw exactly what she wanted to see, a husband sulking, still stuck in pain, clinging to the idea of working things out. I played that part so well she actually started trying to flip the script. She started cooking again, wearing makeup in the mornings, leaving flirty notes by the coffee machine like she was some rom-com wife who just wanted to make things right. I've been thinking about us, she said one night, sliding in beside me in bed like the last few weeks hadn't happened. I know we've both made mistakes. We both made mistakes. It always comes back to that, doesn't it? Level the playing field. Pretend cheating is the same as being too tired to talk after a 12-hour shift. She tried to kiss me. I turned my face. Still mad, she whispered, breath sweet with cheap wine. No, I said calmly, just tired. That line? It worked like a charm. She thought it meant I was finally folding, that the storm had passed. What it really meant, I was done playing checkers. This was chess. A week later, I was ready. The divorce papers were prepped, waiting on my signature. I just needed one last piece, proof that Blake wasn't just a one-off. I wanted full control, no room for arguments. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I asked Tiffany for help. The same demon child that got me fired. She was the kind of person who thrived on chaos, and I knew if I could spin it right, she'd bite. I called her, calm and cold. Look, I said, I know you hate me. I know you think I'm some arrogant jerk. But you also hate Ashley, admit it. She treats you like a brat. She talks crap behind your back, and you know it. There was a pause. Then, yeah. So? I just need you to tell me who Blake is. That's all. She laughed. That guy? He's a stripper. I blinked. What? Yeah, she said. He works at that cheesy girls' night out place downtown. Blake the Breaker or something. Real name's Trent. She met him on a bachelorette party. I almost dropped the phone. Of course. Of course she'd cheat on me with a half-naked man who grinds for tips under a disco ball. It was so her it hurt. Thanks, I said, and hung up. I didn't tell Gerald right away. First, I wanted one final act. Not revenge, just balance. That weekend, we had dinner with her family. They invited me, thinking I was back to being their good little golden goose. Her mom smiled too wide. Her dad gave me a patronizing nod like I should be grateful to be accepted again. Tiffany was there too, smirking the whole time like she was watching a movie only she knew the twist to. Ashley held my hand under the table like nothing was broken. Tell them about the new bonus, she said, eyes gleaming. I smiled. Better than a bonus, I said. I've got something even more exciting. They leaned in. I pulled a thick envelope from my coat, slid it across the table. Open it. Ashley looked confused. Her mom snatched it first. Tore it open. Divorce papers. Her dad's face turned red. Her mom gasped. Ashley froze. Then I said the words that had been dancing in my head for weeks. Check your mailboxes. Every single one of them. Silent. Pale. Like someone just cut the lights on their little dinner party dream. Ashley stood up, shaking. You're ending this? Over a stripper? I shrugged. No. I'm ending it because you never loved me. You loved what I gave you. Now you get nothing. Then I walked out. Calm. Steady. For the first time in years, I wasn't angry. I was free. And she? She finally saw who she'd really been married to. I didn't look back as I left that house. Not once. Their voices followed me to the door, shouts, sputters, the sound of Ashley flipping into full meltdown mode. I caught one last thing before I stepped out into the cool night air. You'll regret this, Jason. You think you're the good guy? You're just a bitter, boring loser. Funny thing was, she was half right. I was bitter. I was done playing the good guy. But a loser? Nah. Losers don't walk out of hell with their head held high. The next few days were quiet. Not peaceful quiet, like the part in a storm when the air gets heavy and you know lightning's about to strike. Ashley tried calling, texting, voice notes. I didn't block her. I wanted her to see that I was choosing silence, that she wasn't even worth a reaction. By the fourth day, her messages changed tone. The fake regret turned into threats. She'd expose me to my new employer, tell everyone I was abusive, controlling, unstable. She didn't get it. None of that worked anymore. Her words were just empty furniture in a house I'd already burned down. I showed Gerald the messages. He smiled like a shark. She's digging her own grave. Just let her keep texting. A week later, Ashley showed up at my job, unannounced, wearing that fake, innocent face that used to mean something once. She brought cookies. Can you believe that? Cookies. Like that was gonna rewrite the past. Just wanted to say sorry, she said to my assistant, loud enough for the office to hear. Jason's had such a hard time lately. I thought maybe we could talk like adults. My assistant, bless her, said, you can leave them at the front desk. Ashley smiled, but I saw her jaw clench. She left the cookies. I threw them in the trash. That night, I got a call from Blake, of all people. Or rather, Trent, the stripper. Apparently, Ashley had told him I'd attacked her emotionally and tried to ruin her life. He wanted to clear the air, as if he was some neutral party. You know, she said you were abusive, man. That she stayed with me because she felt scared at home. I didn't respond right away. I just sat on the edge of my bed, phone pressed to my ear, thinking about how deep the rot really went. You believe her? I asked. Long pause. Not really. She said the same thing about me to her mom last week. Said I was controlling and broke. So yeah, I'm out. Click. Even Blake, stripper by night, homewrecker by day, figured out what I hadn't seen for years. Ashley was a scoundrel. A manipulator with just enough charm to make you think you were the crazy one. And the moment she couldn't benefit from you anymore, she'd flip the story, paint you as the villain, and move on to her next savior. The final blow came when she tried to drain our joint savings. She didn't know I'd already locked it down. Moved the bulk of it out weeks ago. When the transaction failed, I got the alert, and within an hour, Gerald filed an injunction. She showed up that night, screaming in the driveway like a banshee in leggings. "You stole my money," she shrieked. "Our money," I corrected, calm as stone. "And you don't get a cent without a judge's signature now." She threw her phone at my truck. It bounced off the hood and hit the pavement. Shattered. It was almost poetic. "You're disgusting," she spat. "You're nothing without me." I stepped closer, close enough that she could see I wasn't playing anymore. "No, Ashley. I'm finally something because I left you." I turned, walked back inside, locked the door behind me. That night, I poured one last drink in the house we once shared. The divorce would be final in weeks. She'd get what she deserved, maybe a few things, legally, but emotionally? Nothing. The dogs curled up next to me. I watched TV, laughed for the first time in months. It wasn't a big laugh, just one of those quiet ones that sneaks out when you realize you're not stuck anymore. And I thought to myself, never again. Never again would I let someone like that wear me down, twist my loyalty, drain my spirit. I'd been too patient, too trusting. That version of me? Dead. This version? Cold. Clear-eyed. Focused. She took my peace, so I gave her silence. She played her games, and I handed her nothing. And the next man she tried to fool? God help him. Because she might fool him with those eyes, that voice, those sweet, poison lies. But the truth always shows up eventually. Usually right behind a parked car at a Dunkin'. About 2 months passed. I'd moved into a loft closer to the city, minimalist, clean, mine. No fake succulents, no glittered throw pillows, no scented candles trying to cover up a rotten life. Just space and silence. I kept the couch, the dogs, and my sanity. Everything else stayed in the past. The court date came and went. Gerald was ruthless. Ashley showed up in this tight, white dress like she was walking into a Bravo reunion special. She tried tears. She tried charm. The judge wasn't buying it. Not with the messages, the footage, the evidence, the laughable cookie stunt at my office. She walked in with drama, walked out with a rude awakening and a warning from the judge about weaponizing lies. I didn't smile when we won. Not because I wasn't satisfied. I just didn't care anymore. My win wasn't court-ordered. My win was freedom. The papers didn't make me free. Her silence did. I stopped hearing from her after that. Not because she changed, she just found new prey. I'm sure. I heard through Tiffany that Blake dumped her not long after the court hearing. Said she was too toxic, even for a dancer who works bachelor parties. That line made me laugh hard, probably harder than anything had in years. But here's the twist in this whole story, and it hit me when I least expected it. I got a call from my old boss. The one whose phone got lit up by Tiffany's prank. He wanted to talk. We met at this rooftop bar downtown. He apologized genuinely. Said it was wrong the way they let me go, how quick they were to assume the worst without asking questions. Apparently, the call Tiffany made wasn't just a prank, it had legal consequences. She'd impersonated someone, and it came back around in an investigation. Company policy got revised because of it. Then he offered me a job. More money. More freedom. Remote flexibility. Better title. He called it a second chance. I called it karma. So I took it. And that's when the vultures came circling again. Ashley's mother called first. She left a message, her voice syrupy fake. "Jason, we heard about the new job. That's really great. I know things with Ash were rough, but maybe now we can all just move forward, huh?" Then her dad. Then her uncle. Then Tiffany. Tiffany. That little devil had the nerve to text me like nothing ever happened. "Hey, big shot. Guess you're back on top. So proud. Got any spare change for your favorite troublemaker?" Face with tears of joy. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something better. I bought envelopes. Good, heavy stock ones, the kind people only use for weddings or legal notices. Then I typed a note, printed a copy for each of them. It read, "Thank you for your interest in my success. Your request has been processed. Please check your mailbox." Inside each envelope, I included a fake check, Just a blank piece of paper with a cartoon drawing of a hand flipping the bird. I mailed every single one. First class. Tracked. The fallout was glorious. Tiffany posted on her story, screaming about how some people got no sense of humor. Her mom called me cruel. Her dad left a voicemail calling me unstable. I didn't care. They were finally feeling the sting they'd spent years dealing out like party favors. Ashley didn't call, but I knew she got hers. Knew because she texted a single emoji, skull and crossbones. Perfect. Now, I don't waste time thinking about her. I work. I lift. I hang out with real people. I date when I feel like it, but no one serious. Not yet. Trust takes time, and mine was shattered once. I won't rebuild it for just anyone. Sometimes, I catch myself watching the dogs nap in the corner and wonder how close I was to staying stuck. One more lie I let slide. One more dinner pretending to laugh. One more week pretending I wasn't breaking and I'd still be there. In that house. With that snake. But I got out. And if you're reading this, and you're in it, trapped with someone who twists your loyalty, mocks your worth, drains your soul, listen to me. Get out. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Not after you. Just try one more time. Now. Because people like Ashley don't love you. They love what you give them. And when you've got nothing left, they'll blame you for the void they dug with their own hands. But once you walk away, they crumble. And you? You rise. It was a Thursday when I ran into her again. I was walking through the farmer's market near the waterfront. Just needed tomatoes. I wasn't looking to step back into hell. But there she was at Ashley, standing by the flower stall, pretending to admire sunflowers like she hadn't ripped out every living thing in my life and left the roots burning. She looked the same on the outside, tight jeans, fake tan, that same smug posture like the world owed her a standing ovation. But there was a difference. You could see it in her eyes. That sparkle she used to weaponize was gone. It was like someone had turned the dimmer switch all the way down. She saw me before I could turn away. Jason, she called, smiling like we were old friends bumping into each other on vacation. I didn't stop walking. Just nodded once, polite, cold. But she followed. Of course she did. Hey, wait, just a second. I just want to talk. I stopped, mostly because I didn't want her tailing me like some needy ghost through a crowd of innocent people. She stood close, too close, like we were still something. Like any of it still mattered. You look good, she said, biting her lip. That old trick. Different. Yeah, I said. Happy people look like that. She flinched. For real. No performance this time. It caught her off guard, because she was expecting the old Jason. The guy who would listen, who would fold a little under those lashes and her made-up memories. You don't have to be cruel, she muttered, trying for righteous. And you didn't have to blow up my life. Yet, here we are. There was silence. The crowd buzzed around us, kids with cotton candy, old couples buying jam, a violinist playing some movie theme off in the distance. And we stood there in the middle of it, like two ghosts who didn't realize they were dead. I've been going to therapy, she said, as if that was her trump card. I gave a single dry laugh. Did you go before or after the stripper? Her mouth opened, closed. No words came out. Good. I don't need anything from you, Ashley. Not closure. Not clarity. Definitely not conversation. You had all your chances. You used them like scratch-offs. And guess what? You lost. I made mistakes, she whispered. You are a mistake, I said calmly, almost gently. And you're not mine anymore. So take care of yourself, whatever that looks like now. But I'm done with you. Then I turned and left her standing there with her fake flowers and real regret. That was the last time I saw her. But here's the truth people don't tell you. Healing doesn't come with a finish line. There's no parade, no magic sunrise, no movie ending where you stand on a mountain and scream, I'm free. It comes slowly. One morning you wake up and don't think about them. One afternoon you laugh and don't remember what her voice sounded like when she lied. One night you fall asleep without the weight of betrayal pressing on your chest like concrete. It took me months to stop hearing her voice in the silence. But it faded. And once it did, everything got clearer. I started mentoring younger guys at work. Smart kids, hungry, hopeful, still too trusting. I saw pieces of myself in them. So I told them what no one told me. Never confuse loyalty with self-sacrifice. If you give everything and get back lies, that's not love. It's abuse with pretty packaging. One of them, a guy named Ryan, was going through a breakup with a woman who sounded a lot like Ashley. He told me he didn't know if he should leave. I said, imagine she treated your little brother the way she's treating you. What would you tell him? He blinked, then nodded. The next day, he moved out. Sometimes, justice isn't loud. Sometimes, it's just peace. It's the quiet you earn after surviving noise you didn't deserve. I still have the fake checks I mailed to Ashley's family. I keep one in my drawer. Not as a trophy. As a reminder. A reminder that you can walk through fire. You just have to stop trying to bring people with you who lit the match. So no, I don't hate her. But I'll never forget her. And I'll never let someone like her in again. It was a slow Sunday morning when the letter arrived. No name on the envelope. Just my address, typed, no handwriting. Heavy paper, expensive feel. One of those envelopes people use for wedding invitations or lawsuits, nothing in between. I opened it at the kitchen table, coffee in one hand, dog snoring at my feet. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Typed. Centered. No signature. Just one sentence. I made a mistake letting you go. No return address. No explanation. But I didn't need one. I knew that voice, even in black ink. Ashley. The last, desperate move in her playbook. Silent, mysterious regret. Hoping curiosity would hook me back in. That I'd chase her for answers, fall back into the story, give her another chance to rewrite history. I folded the paper in half and dropped it into the trash without a word. She hadn't let me go. She threw me away. And now that her new life didn't pan out the way she planned, she wanted to reach back like I was some safety net waiting to catch her broken fall. That's the thing about people like her. They don't miss you. They miss what you did for them. The loyalty. The patience. The unpaid therapy sessions masked as late-night talks. The emotional bailouts. The comfort of knowing someone would always be there, no matter how bad they messed up. And when you finally aren't there, that's when they panic. But panic isn't love. Regret isn't an apology. And a line on a page isn't healing. I didn't tell anyone about the letter. Didn't brag. Didn't rage. I just sat with it. Let it pass through me like a cold wind. And then I went on with my day. That was the win. Not caring. Not reacting. Living. A few weeks later, I took a short trip to Colorado. Nothing fancy, just time to breathe, hike, reconnect with the world outside four walls and a desk. I met people who didn't know my name, didn't know my past. It felt clean. Like my life had finally been rinsed of her residue. One night, around a fire pit, someone asked me what my worst breakup was. I thought for a second, then answered honestly. The kind where you don't just lose the person, you lose who you were with them. And then you realize, after everything burns down, that's the best damn thing that could have happened. They nodded. No judgment. Just understanding. No one needed the details. The pain spoke its own language. When I got back home, my house felt different. Lighter. Not just the air me. I looked around and saw my life again. Not the wreckage. Not the aftermath. The rebuild. You know, the funny thing about surviving betrayal is that people assume you'll carry the bitterness forever. That you'll become closed off, cold, hard to reach. But if you do it right, if you really heal, you don't become bitter. You become precise. You learn who gets your time, who earns your softness, who deserves your loyalty. You don't become a wall. You become a lock. And only the right key gets through. Ashley's family never reached out again after the mailbox stunt. I think they finally realized I wasn't playing the role anymore. Not the ATM. Not the pushover. Not the fool. Tiffany, though, she sent me one last DM months later. You really think you're better than us now? I didn't reply, but I thought about it. Better? No. Just free. And freedom, real freedom, isn't loud or flashy or angry. It's peace. It's walking through your house without flinching. It's laughing and not remembering the sound of manipulation. It's waking up and feeling like you're home because you're you again. So no, I don't hate Ashley, but I don't miss her. I don't wonder. I don't ache. I remember. And that's enough. Let her play her games with someone new. Let her spin her web. Let her chase the next fix. I'm done playing. I've already won. ChatGPT Powie Edziel. It ended, not with a bang, not with some final screaming match or cinematic revenge plot. It ended with nothing. No more texts. No more fake apologies. No more haunting memories dragging themselves into my quiet mornings. Just silence. And God, that silence was beautiful. You know what nobody tells you after you've been burned like that? That healing doesn't come from watching them suffer. It's not about getting the last word or proving them wrong. It's not even about forgiveness, not at first. It's about choosing yourself. Every single day. Especially on the days when it feels like the weight of what they did might crush your chest. You get up anyway. You breathe. You move. You live. Even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. I started doing small things for myself again. Cooking real meals. Not the frozen dinners I ate while sitting in the wreckage of what she left behind. I called my mom more. I got back into photography, something I gave up when Ashley called it a waste of time. I hung some of my shots in the hallway. Every time I walked past them, it reminded me I exist outside of her. One night, I was walking my dogs, and this older guy sitting on his porch gave me a nod and said, "Man, you look peaceful." It hit me harder than anything Ashley ever said. Peace. That's what it was. Not victory. Not escape. Just peace. And if you've ever clawed your way out of a toxic relationship, you'll know peace is priceless. I used to think love was supposed to be complicated. That if it wasn't dramatic and messy and full of wild highs and bottomless lows, it wasn't real. But that wasn't love. That was addiction. Obsession. A loop of validation and destruction served on a silver plate called romance. What I want now is easy. Not boring, easy. Simple kindness. Steady loyalty. Truth that doesn't have to be torn from someone's mouth. A love that doesn't leave bruises on your soul. I met someone new recently. Her name's Morgan. She laughs with her whole chest, never tries to shrink me down, never needs to be the center of every room. We're taking it slow because that's what real healing demands. Not rushing into another storm, but learning how to enjoy the sun again. She doesn't try to fix me. She just sees me. And after everything, that's all I've ever wanted. So here's what I'll say to anyone out there still stuck, still bleeding, still staring at the ceiling wondering how someone they loved could tear them apart. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not too much or too little. You were just in the wrong damn story. Rip the pages out. Set the whole thing on fire if you have to. But rewrite it. On your terms. You don't owe anyone your pain. You don't owe closure to a person who slammed the door in your face. You don't have to stay where love feels like punishment. You get to leave. You get to grow. You get to become someone even you are proud to know. That's what I did. I stopped surviving. And I started living. The past? Let it rot. Let it collect dust in some forgotten drawer. It doesn't get to define me anymore. I'm not Jason, the guy whose wife cheated. I'm Jason, the guy who walked through fire and didn't just make it out. I came out carrying the match, smiling. And I will never, ever be that man she broke again.